right, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday Night Forum. We've got Gary here with us tonight.
Hello,
And
hello, hello.
Tony Turner makes an
That
appearance.
guy. That guy.
We give him a cap. He finally got off the bench, Gary.
Yeah, he's been slacking. Hey, you got to practice the way you're playing, man. You have not been practicing, so there you go.
He's like Eddie right now.
You try dealing with my things and
I don't want to hear
Dude, that
excuses.
video
No
should-
excuses over here, buddy. You
No,
gotta bring it every day.
I'll give him that. Well, like Gary, I know he's got a lot going on. So, Tony, thanks for being here. We always enjoy having you around, of course. So let's get through. Gary, you like to do a roll call, don't you?
Yeah, I can do it. So here we
Yeah.
go. So hello, everyone. We had Tiger and Goonie. Goonie was in here a little earlier today.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still here. Riddy, welcome to the show. BX, Mr. Moss. Oh, Miss Melina's joined us. Welcome to the show, Miss Melina.
Yes, welcome.
And you can finish up.
Oh, okay.
you.
I did the roll call. Now you can finish up.
It's like Eddie with that pass. You give me a perfect pass in the 85th minute. Yeah, that's about it, right? So we'll get through a few comments from the individuals, Hands up if your team is top of their league and through to the last 16 of the Champions League. Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder how things are doing down under for Tiger and Gunnar.
Mhm.
And B Moss is here as well. BX Jose reminded Moss. Okay, cool. All right, Tony, we'll give you the honor of going first.
Oh boy.
So what did you think of the game last night? Arsenal have sealed their fate into the last 16 of the knockout stages of the UEFA Champions League.
Why can't we do that the first time we played them?
Oh my gosh, is that the first thing you're gonna say?
Yep.
True to form, Gary. True to form.
It's true. It's true.
Yes.
Putting that full strength team out there, you should get the results.
Yeah. Listen, hopefully you're right, Tony, that it's signs of Arsenal finally clicking. We wondered about this team. They've got all of the right ingredients. But we just didn't have enough of those ingredients on the field. And now, Gary, it looks like we're getting a settled front line as well to go to the back line that we've had.
Yeah. People are asking why it wasn't this here. This is only the second or third time we've seen that front three play together. We actually seen, and I think that's the first time we've seen that front five in terms of our attackers playing ever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Everything was new here, but it was a closeout game. We needed to come in and actually close out the game, leave no doubt, as I like to say, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Started off a little slow those first 10 minutes because I listened to the first 10 minutes, I think, and then I just watched it again today. First 10 minutes, it looks like, it's gonna be one of those days where we're going to we're not gonna be clinical. We had a couple opportunities there, and we're just not clinical with them, and that changed after the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, welcome BX. As BX said, that was the first time that lineup has ever played together, with that specific lineup, especially Havertz, Odegaard, the eights, and then the three players in front of them, Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka. And they all would. Everybody would get a goal in this game, Gary. So it was a bit of a goal fest. Havertz actually did have a header just wide before he scored the goal,
Yep.
So, listen, you could say it was a tap in, but he still has to be there, and hopefully it ignites something, and it keeps going with Kai Havertz now.
I guess when he's playing well, he has to not only. Well, I'm glad it's not only just making silly plays in the field, trying to draw a yellow, but actually scoring goals and being as part of the attack. So yeah, I mean, he's still. Going into this game, I was calling for him just to, maybe he doesn't need to start
Mhm.
You know, he doesn't need to start just yet. I figured they let him build into it and give us, another kind of performance like he did last time. But Arteta, of course, he really wants it to work. I just don't want it to rush, and then we see like a good game, and then you don't see a consistency. Now we've seen it. Saw it coming off the bench. Now we've seen it starting. Right, came off starting.
Yeah.
I'll have to do it again, and again and again. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we spend all that money.
I saw they as I work, I saw the first 20 minutes and the score, not the game, but the score line. I'm thinking, wow. And then I'm wondering what kind of goals Kai did score. It seemed a very simple finish at the end of the day, but you have to be in that position as well to put it away. And he's been in that position many times this season without putting it away. So, Tony, what's your assessment of Kai Havertz? I know we've been talking about him, give him 10 games, and it didn't look great after 10 games. But now he's starting to sort of put some things together.
I still don't think he's good enough, but I'm not the one putting him out there. I kind of likes him.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the left 8 has to be Zinchenko. You have KVR, you got Tamiyasu you can put there at left back. And that lets you have Cassard in as attacker. So
Yeah, and Gary, I don't think he needs to score 15, 20 goals like Odegaard did last season.
Who?
Kai Havertz, if he
That's
contributes.
exactly what he's supposed to be doing. It's
Okay.
exactly why you spent all that money. It's exactly why you play him. So, no, I don't agree with that. No, we shouldn't be expecting to get 15 goals from him because I think that's actually why you spent all that money. They didn't spend all that money on him to be a good for his defensive skills at the left 8 or the right 8. That's not what they spent 65 mil on. They wanted offensive mid, then they should have gone in a different direction. So for me, no, the goals are those are currency again, right? That's the thing that we should be seeing from him. So that's what everybody says has been lacking is his goal scoring. It's been down. So yeah, no. Like I said, he was in, like you said, he was in the right spot there. He was really good offensively, better than probably most games we've seen this season. Probably his best game in terms of being part of the attack, being a presence there. Being in, like you said, being in the right position for that header. It was a header, right? It was a header towards him. So I don't think any of that was a fluke. You know, you saw Jesus kind of look right before he heads that ball right in front of that goal. And guess what? There was a player standing there. It was Havertz. So I think everything about that was premeditated. It was expected. You know, that's what they were trying to do. So yeah. So no, he's like, for me, once again, his currency is no different than Nketiah. I just goals, GA goals and assists. So
Moss says, Ray, you ready for some M16 spy work after with the cloak and dagger in your pocket there? I guess this to do with the outfit that I'm wearing here. When we have Odegaard and Jesus, like I always say, we dominate because our tempo is high and we press really well and awesome. Do any peeps in here need to be apologizing for their Havertz crimes, Tony?
No. I don't think the pace was there. It's still not fast paced. That was the problem.
I thought we played pretty fast football yesterday. I thought we played some really good football against Lons to win 6-0. I thought it was an evening where we moved the ball pretty fast. Yeah. We were exciting. We attacked the defenders,
It has to happen more than once, right?
Yeah, of course, it has to happen more than once.
Weekend slow, plenty of times in season.
You're not going to have performances like that every day. And do we find some things a little easier in the Champions League, Gary? Is that what it is?
Well, that definitely wasn't a good defensive play. Play from
Lons.
Lons, right? Not good
Yeah,
at all. Really easy for us for sure.
we've
Everybody's
beaten.
looking. Everybody's looking at Champions League, going, "Oh, the game's much more wide open." That's why we looked the way we did. If that's what happens when a team opens up and doesn't play a similar, you know, um, a kind of a, I guess a more defensive stance in their defense, then yeah, that's what we were doing last season, right? Teams played us a little bit more open, then realized they need to go, push push the defense back, and then try to stall us as much as they
Is
can.
that is that the difference we're seeing, Gary? Is that the difference it seems between the Champions League and Premier League? The Premier League teams know who Arsenal are now and how we can play. In Europe, maybe we have a very slight advantage.
Yeah,
in teams.
yeah. I think they're a little. They like it happened really fast. Bang, 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 bang. Man, 4 goals, right?
Mhm.
And
Space of 27
and they,
minutes.
they did. For what I can tell, they did double team Saka multiple times. I saw that back-to-back times, but I think they were just a little too slow to do it. And when they were, you could see him cut inside. That's how we got that assist to Jesus, right? So yeah, the defense was they just weren't more in tune to how they needed to defend us, and we took advantage. And that's what's going to happen. That's why sometimes I think we just wait. We wait for the defense to set up instead of just not just breaking it when we have a chance. So yeah.
Our 3 home games, Gary, in the Champions League, we've beaten PSV 4-0. We beat Sevilla 2-0 very comprehensively, and now we've beaten Lens 6-0. So no goals conceded so far, and 12 scored. And we sort of the critics will say this was the weak group, and this is what we should have been doing. And we did what we should have done, right?
Yep.
Jesus' great match. He's always so fired up when we play in Champions League. His record in Champions League, Tony, is pretty good down through the years, and he's continuing that with Arsenal this season. Gabriel Jesus.
I still think we've got better players to put in that role than
We don't have
Jesus.
anybody better than Jesus. So.
We don't?
Find one better than Jesus.
He's going to say like a Trossard or
better than Jesus.
Say, right, Trossard.
Yep.
Left in the false 9 position. Tony will say 4 goals and 2 assists in 4 games in the Champions League. So not bad at all for Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, but everybody has to remember we're putting our first choice players in all these games. We're not putting teams in the rest or like all the other teams are.
We haven't had an opportunity to do that, Tony.
Yeah, you do.
They've been injured.
There's been injuries.
How many injuries? We've had injuries pretty much every week of this season. There's always somebody out for an injury. Happened 45 minutes into the season. We don't have a full squad. It's not like people are playing when they can get in.
Yeah. You've had Yuri and Timber get injured. We've had to play, much to Gary's chagrin, we've had to play Partey in a right-back position in the early games.
Didn't have to do that.
I know, but that's what happens. That's what the person who picks the teams deemed necessary to do. We have,
but who comes to that? Let's bench our best defender, which Gabriel is.
Yeah, well, that wasn't benching. He was. Well, he
was on the bench. I don't know what else you know, right?
He was. There was speculation that he was going to go to the Saudi League, and that was why he missed the first couple of games of the season. I think we're going to see this more and more in summer windows. Players being unsettled by the Saudi League.
I would have not watched very many Arsenal games if I sold them.
Gary looks kind of bewildered here. But Gary,
I didn't understand why we were sitting our best center back pairing. regardless of who they're playing next.
Speculation,
Guess what?
transfer
Guess what?
speculation.
Because guess what? You're gonna have to do that anyways. Because we already know coming into the season, outside of Timber, we knew that all of our fullbacks are injury prone. So the chances of them always being able to play a certain way is slim, right? So to play Partey in that position because of injuries doesn't make any sense, especially to start the season. I mean, did they really prepare him and practice that
we
way?
didn't have a Zinchenko, we didn't have Gabriel Magalhaes, and so we
had Magalhaes. We chose not to play him.
True.
It's still the most mind-boggling thing of the season so far.
I mean, it basically just killed Partey.
Yeah. Whatever was left in the Duracell batteries in his backpack faded out and died away until the new year. So, speaking of Thomas Partey, I mean, he may come back in the new year, play well for Ghana in the African Cup of Nations, and then be available maybe for the knockout stages.
That's just disappointing, right?
I mean, it is disappointing, but if you want to have a Thomas Partey for 4 months, I would rather have him for the run-in rather than the first 4 months of the season. You know,
I guess it's a good plan, right? It's a good plan.
It's the only plan we have when it comes to Thomas Partey. You know,
no, that's that. I mean, that's yeah.
It would be nice. We were all thinking about pairing Thomas Partey alongside Declan Rice in that midfield, having their pairing Partey and Rice together when they're playing well.
You don't need two defensive midfielders out there.
No, they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be deployed as defensive midfielders. Declan Rice would be your left 8, and Partey would be playing in that 6 position. He's never really been a true defensive midfielder either. Thomas Partey as well. You know, he's been able to beat the press.
He's been played there for a million times. Right?
Yeah, just because you're playing in that area of the field doesn't mean you're a true defensive midfielder. And
Simone used him as one. He's one of the best defensive coaches there.
I mean, he has aspects to his game that are defensive, but I wouldn't think of Thomas Partey as a defensive midfielder. Would you, Gary?
I watched him live in a North London derby.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really great defensive exhibit that he put on there. People talk about Rice, interception man, or whatever they call him.
Yeah,
that's basically what Partey did.
Partey was doing.
I watched a lot of that, so I believe he's got the best of both worlds when he's healthy. Defensively, he's solid, and offensively, he's really good. Really good. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet in the middle of madness. And I always said it when he first came in, anyway, and he was healthy. The ball touches his feet, and everything just calms down. Everything just slows down. That's what he brings. That's why when he's healthy, he's really good.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't believe that too many people have that, right? So I think that's a skill we're gonna miss if he is gone. We're gonna get one or the other. We're gonna get somebody who's really good with the ball at their feet, but not so good at the defensive side, or pretty defensive but not as good offensive. I mean, Rice is. I think we're gonna call him probably more. He's less gonna take ball on a half turn, right?
Hey, Lolo.
So
welcome to the show, Lolo.
we're talking about
Thomas Partey. We're talking about Thomas Partey right now, the forgotten man.
Yeah. He's not forgotten. He's just not. He's away.
Out of sight, maybe out of mind.
No, he's not out of sight. He's not around. What are we talking about him for? It's not like he's sitting on a bench or something. We're not playing him.
I don't think I mentioned him. I mean, I might have mentioned him in terms
of nothing to talk about.
We're not talking
about Timber either. Are we just out of? Are we just like not talking? Why? There's a reason why we're not talking about. He can't play. Right? Partey's the same way. He can't play.
Do you think he comes back in February, March, Gary?
If he comes back in February, coming back from AFCON, we won't see him until March. I just don't see. I don't see how he's been out for this long, and he'll be healthy enough to go play in AFCON, where they're going to just put him on there pretty much every game they can, and then he's going to come back ready to play Premier League football. He can't. He shouldn't go. But that's not up to us, right?
Yeah.
So,
We'll take it back here to the Lens game and the second goal with Gabriel Jesus. A well taken goal from Gabriel Jesus, sorting his feet out. Tony, he sorts his feet out pretty well. He reminded me of the game against Manchester United where he took it inside on his left and finished on the right.
It was a good shot by him. It's not the kind of shots he usually does, but it's nice to see.
we see the shots from him.
He's a striker. He's supposed to be
We see
able
this
to
from
finish.
him all the time.
He's not a striker. He's a winger, right?
Well, he's playing in the striker's role. He's playing as a number 9 for us. Now we can play the youngsters and bench in PSV away in between a tough Villa and Brighton games. Yeah,
And he's back. He's back where Lacazette is most of the time.
If you want to know about Lacazette and how Tony feels about him, go back about 2 years and watch an old show.
But you see him doing all the hold-up play and stuff. You don't see him setting.
Did
Striker.
you see Jesus coming back to support the midfield today? Yesterday?
No, I
Did
didn't.
he have to? Did he have
I saw him.
No. The question is, did you? Because you're saying he was playing like Lacazette, but I don't recall him having to come
He's
back.
been doing that the whole time.
We're talking
he's
about
been
the
with
last
us.
game. We're not talking about every game he's played for Arsenal. Can we just talk about the last game? And then you can go and talk about the history of the Jesus in the
The story of him.
Compare and contrast the
He played a
physical
team that
attributes.
was not playing defense. They weren't attacking, so why did he need to go do hold up play?
BX Gunner said,
The guy's not a striker.
I put the Arsenal Lens replay back on again, so you're going to relive some of the moments tonight.
Where does he play for Brazil?
Tony, we're reviewing last night's game. We're not going all over the scope here.
Oh, you guys do it all the time. Come on.
We try to talk about the game most of the time, Tony.
You're taking us back.
You do that. Ray asks a question and Gary goes on a 20-minute rant about the whole scope of a player's career.
I asked a question.
I do that.
You take it back to Lacazette
career?
days.
No way.
You take it back to Lacazette and Guendouzi.
I said he does what Lacazette did. He dropped back.
He does.
He drops back.
They're very different players, and Gabriel Jesus does a lot more up front, combining with the players, Bukayo Saka and Martinelli. BX said Partey conversation should be how much are we getting for him in January, and will Villa sell Luiz or Watkins? Yeah, so a lot of people are giving up on Thomas Partey, Jesus played center forward versus Argentina, Martinelli, and on the wing. So, he can play across a few positions, Tony. He is a winger. He can be a striker as well. Havertz was a completely different player from the opening whistle this last game, like he picked up right after Brentford, So here we are. BX Gunner is feeling a little bit more hopeful about the season. Started off a little bit, show me the money kind of way. I need to see it. I think BX is starting to believe a little bit more now. Lolo said Arteta's dream realized 6 goals, 6 different scorers. I wanted Arteta to go in at halftime and say, go for another 5 at halftime, in the second half, like the French did in a recent international game. The third goal coming then was Bukayo Saka, Gary?
Yep.
And Havertz had a driving run, passes to Martinelli. Kind of a little bit of an embarrassing goal for a professional, right? Because the goalkeeper parries the ball onto the body of Saka and just dribbles into the net. But he's going to take that.
You gotta be there and create your own luck, right?
Yeah. If you do good things, if you do the right things, you'll get some luck along the line, right?
You always want somebody in front of the goal, right? When you put a cross in, a shot in, because we see it all the time. Damn, where's the person in front of the goal when the goalkeeper coughs it up, right?
Yeah.
Well, 2 times. Well, not even 2 times, but that was one of those times. That's what it looks like. So,
Gary, Tiger and Gunner says it's 32 degrees today, bloody hot. It's 32 degrees here too.
Yeah, it's 30 degrees over here as well. It's not bloody hot.
Just not Celsius.
There's a difference there, fella.
Slight difference, yeah. We're in our winter, and Tiger and Gunner is in summer now, heading into summer. Big up, guys! Another Havertz masterclass from Red John. So hopefully he can kick on. Did you see the lighter thrown at Mega Legs or the chair ripped out and thrown at Saliba? Yeah, some bad scenes there from the French traveling supporters, throwing flares up at Arsenal fans as well. Zero.
Why don't we invest in better bolts? Because I've lost track of how many games we've had our own seats thrown at our players by the away fans.
Better bolts. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, better bolts.
Hopefully, Lons is paying for those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous how many games we've had seats thrown at our players.
They probably get the crap seats anyways, so that's probably why they get ripped up.
Yeah, the plastic breaks off of the bolts here. So 3-0, we're flying, Tony. You might have liked the next goal from Martinelli. Tomiyasu. Did Tomiyasu mean that pass?
He meant to clear it. That's what he meant.
Clearance, right?
If that was Gabriel, that would be on a purpose pass. But Tomiyasu, that was not.
You know what? He's trying to clear it because there's a Lons player going at it. So he's like, I'll get to it first, and I'll kick it away. It just so happened it was
just
right in stride.
Here's a contender for comment of the night so far. Lolo saying, already loose from all the other away fans we've met, very salty this season so far. The chair's loosening up. 2 assists, Takehiro Tomiyasu, Tony. And look, I was critical of Tomiyasu a little bit last season in that Man City game, but I think he's playing really well now, and he's up for a contract extension. I think they're in negotiations. He's in negotiations with Arsenal right now to extend his contract.
Interesting. He's getting healthy at the right time, right? At the right time.
Getting healthy, Gary, playing well, and probably one of our best defensive fullbacks. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult right now. You got Zinchenko and Ben White.
Well, I'm happy that he's playing well, and I'm happy that he's healthy. But I just, what does he sign a contract and then he goes back to what he was before getting injured? I would hope not. Arsenal doesn't have that luck sometimes. I mean, right? He's been pretty much since he's been here, been injured at least all the time. I mean, he's only had a good 14 games with us right now, and they say he's finally healthy, and he's on a contract year. Is it just dumb luck, a coincidence? What is it?
No, I think when you see it a lot when players are coming up to their contracts, right, Tony?
Some certain panel member, when Tomiyasu came here, pointed out that Tomiyasu did have an injury problem.
I don't know who that is. They're probably not on this show anymore. They're probably not on this show anymore, so let's move on. Why do we want to talk about people that aren't on this show anymore, Tony?
Who's that? Matt? Who's that?
That was the guy down below that has a pink shirt on.
I don't see anybody below. Do you see anybody below? See? Nobody sees what you're saying. You got to get your eyes checked, man.
Yeah, listen, a great goal from Martinelli.
Just kidding, Tony.
We are
You
just
say a lot of
busting.
stuff. I
We're
try.
just
I erase a lot of it, and sometimes I might erase the important pieces. Sorry.
It was a great goal from Martinelli, just shot inside the post as well. Did you guys see the Onana howlers versus Galatasaray, says Red John? Yes. Goalkeeper lets the ball, he parries the ball through his own legs, on a free kick that's come in. He stops the ball, but then it rolls between his legs. The third goal, a 3-3. That's a really good goal, and I'm not really blaming Onana for that one. But I saw something on my timeline about him being left all alone to deal with the 3-3 draw and not having any members of the team or any members of the coaches coming to do a good teammate thing for him. Man United should be begging us for Ramsdale. And what do you think, Gary? What do you think? How do you think the results are going to go in Man United's group? So Copenhagen are going to be at home to Galatasaray, and Bayern Munich are going to go away to Old Trafford.
And Bayern Munich doesn't have to win, right? So
They don't have to win. So United could very well win.
they probably won't be too, unless depending on what's going on before or after that game, they probably won't be too invested in trying to get a win, traveling and all of that kind of stuff. So it might be a match that they win just because Bayern doesn't really need it. I mean, they might want to keep their players fit, right? So they might at least start the first half with their players and switch out those that need the rest, which could be bad for United because they might be already losing by the time they go to the bench or whatever. So
yeah,
it's a weird one. I mean, it's weird when you're up 2-0 and you lose, and you lose and you don't get the win. I mean, ouch.
Yeah. United need a miracle, need to beat Bayern Munich, which they could do at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And then Galatasaray versus FC Copenhagen to draw.
Yeah.
Copenhagen are playing at home, and United would need a draw for sure. That's what Moss said there. I actually think Copenhagen are favorites to go through. They could beat Galatasaray. Shout out to Tiger and Gunnar. That Tommy assist to Mardo was crazy. If Trent did that, it would be the talk of the town. I think there's something in that, yeah. If Trent Alexander did that. United are going to the Europa League. It's the history of the Manchester United. Here's an interesting one, Gary. Are you guys supporting Tottenham to beat City? I would prefer that team to beat City, yes.
I'll never cheer for anybody to win.
But you will be. What would be the result that would make you smile a little bit?
The draw helps us out a little more. So
a draw helps as well.
I don't want anybody to win, but it would be nice if a team did drop and not win again. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on this one.
I don't see Tottenham as they are our rivals, but in terms of what we need to do this season, I don't see them as a rival to us.
Yeah, well, the best they can do is a draw, and I don't see that. I mean, City isn't that bad, right? So
Andre Arshavin will be 4 in a row, 4 losses in a row for Tottenham.
Yeah,
City beat them.
I can't see City losing that one just because.
Yeah.
The City. Where is that match? I don't even know where that match is.
It's at Shide Hard Lane.
Yeah. I can't
just
see.
say it's at the toilet bowl, right?
Yeah. I would like City to drop points. Just say that.
Interesting one. Tony, we haven't spoken to you in a few weeks. What's your take between Ramsdale and Raya?
Raya.
Huh?
Ramsdale statistically is one of the poor goalkeepers in the league.
Yeah.
The fans liked him because he gets fan to the games. He shows all that energy and stuff. But between mistakes, he's not good enough. But to me, we're sitting out here on like our fifth set of goalkeepers in the last 3-4 seasons. Should we just like stop and Matty Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Because Leno is definitely the best shot stopper, but he was asked to play with his feet. And you had Ryan that could communicate in Spanish and English with the players to get him to do what he wanted them to do. And that's key. That was the thing that Leno was always missing was the communication abilities. But we've gone through all these keepers, and are they any better than what we started with, Rick?
Yes. I think both David Raya and Ramsdale are better than Bernd Leno, for instance. I mean, Martinez is a very good goalkeeper, you know.
Of course you do. He had a long love fest with.
But I think Ramsdale and Raya are still better than Emi Martinez. They have different traits about them. So basically, I think you're feeling that the choice of going with David Raya is the better one, Tony. You know,
Yep.
80 million for Ramsdale, says Lolo in January to Man United. You taking it? Yeah, I would sell him for 80 million, even if it's within the Premier League. You know, but that is a lot of money. I don't think we'd get 80 million for Aaron Ramsdale. You know, I think Lolo's just putting that out there as a high number to Man United. I would sell to Man United for 50 million. Gary, would you? Ramsdale.
Oh yeah, anything over 35, sell them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And
I mean, the problem is will they be able to find, like you said, like we did last time, find a Matty Ryan goalkeeper to get us through, right?
Well, people are talking about David De Gea. I'm not interested in David De Gea coming to Arsenal to be the second goalkeeper. You know
why?
Because he makes mistakes.
What he comes to be the second goalkeeper?
Like none of our goalkeepers. Is that what you mean?
No, but think about it. David De Gea makes way more high-profile mistakes than any of our goalkeepers do.
He used to not do that. It's a recent trend. Right?
It would be a new level of goalkeeping errors if he would play in an FA Cup game, you know, or heaven forbid David Raya got injured and we'd have to bring David De Gea in. The two Davids, no. Well, I don't think that would be.
We don't need to spend that much money either. I mean, we know we've been able to get backups for a lot less, but yeah.
Newcastle, Man United draw, City, and Spuds draw works for me, says Moss. I would not mind Tottenham beating City, says BX Skinner. It's all about us, and whatever keeps them away from us and us having a gap to them. Moss says nobody gets 3. I think it's a win-win-win situation because we can laugh at Tottenham losing 4 games if that happens. And if City drop any points, it's beneficial to us as well. It's a geographic rivalry between us and Tottenham, not a silverware rivalry. Yeah, that's true. We came on their turf. We set up on their stoop years ago, and they don't like it. Martinez, Leno, Szczesny, Fabianski, all starting in top leagues now. True. He wants big wages, De Gea wants. De Gea hasn't been employed for half a season. He would be unfit as hell. So I don't think De Gea would be a good one. He will bring back David number 3, David Seaman. We will bring back David Seaman, yeah. The 5th goal then last night was an important one, I think, Tony, because it felt like a statement goal. It felt like an FU goal, right, from Odegaard the way he hit that.
I don't see it that way. It's just him shooting, and getting a goal.
What drama are you creating?
Tony's MO tonight is to
I'm with Tony on this one. I'm like, what is the drama that you're talking about?
me.
Yes. Why is it an
you could
statement?
argue,
Ray, argue with yourself for 5
Gary.
minutes.
You could argue that Odegaard has not played well this season. You could argue that he's not scored many goals this season. I felt like that goal was something that's going to kickstart his season.
Have you seen him in that situation any part of the season before? Have you seen him in that same situation?
I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen him in situations where he hasn't scored. Yes.
No. In that situation, that sequence there where he was standing in the goal, and he had nobody in there to defend him or anything like that. Like that's for me, that's an easy for him.
It's an easy goal. Yeah. But he's been missing those.
So you've seen him miss shots like that this season?
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't even remember him being in that type of situation where he could score. You know what I mean?
Well, have you noticed the drop off in goals from last season?
Yeah, but he's not. He's barely ever for me playing in that area where he's going to score. I always felt like I barely see him inside, close to the box, much less near it. He's in the box in that type of situation. I don't feel like we've seen him there.
He scored 6 goals so far, right?
Yes. Actually, he scored 5 goals so far. I have the totals here.
6 goals.
He might have scored in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, he scored right at the end. Remember?
In the Carabao Cup.
He turned off. He stopped the clean sheet.
The West Ham game. Yes. So he has scored.
If you look at his heat map, he spends most of his time just inside the half line.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just don't feel he's been in a situation where he's going to score much because he's not really. That's not where he's hanging out. He's hanging out more just inside, like I say, just inside that half line. So
that's what happened to him the later half of last year. He was in there having to do defensive duties on that right side since White was more forward. This year, White's not doing as forward quite as much, but.
Odegaard has been lackluster, says Red John. This kid was compared to Kevin De Bruyne last year. The drop off has been unreal. And look, I hope he can regain some of his form.
I think the responsibilities have been different. I think he's been asked to do something different these days. I mean, once again, a player who has to, for me anyways, has to help out another player and sacrifice their position and role on the squad to bring somebody in. And that for me is Havertz. I mean, Havertz is the one thing they didn't. I believe that was a issue was his defense. Odegaard can pretty much do all of that stuff. We see him playing pretty good defense there. So
I think you're right. Odegaard has suffered, Gary, because of Havertz being in the team and not having a Partey or Granit Xhaka behind him. Declan Rice.
Granit Xhaka was not behind me last year. Granit Xhaka was almost at the goal, right?
Granit Xhaka was behind them in the heat maps. So if you would look,
Granit Xhaka did a lot more defense than Havertz we want Havertz to do for sure.
There wouldn't be much in it, Tony, but you would have Partey and Xhaka as that defensive midfield duo, and Odegaard attacking further forward. I get what you're saying. Technically, when you're lining up, a left 8 and a right 8 should be equal, but it never really works out exactly like that. Odegaard should have had 2 goals.
To my test, Saka was always ahead of Odegaard last season.
The problem with our team right now is that we don't have Xhaka's defensive skills on the pitch.
Yeah.
Not his offensive skills.
The balance.
He didn't show any defensive skills last year. He didn't have
The reason
to.
why we're struggling right now is because we don't have the defensive skills that he brought to the table.
We have
Not
them. But
not because of the offensive skills.
they're there. They're just not playing in the position.
No. I'm talking about why you see us struggling now. He brought a lot of everything that we need in that midfield.
Now,
You could.
Like
He,
Vieira's
he
not going to
did
give us
not do
anything
defensive.
defensively.
He did not do defensive good.
there are two.
There was lots and lots of errors that he did that led to goals, like he had all of the season.
Not last
At Arsenal.
season.
There is
Because he was, like you said, he was further up the pitch, but he did have responsibilities defensively.
Many.
There's two theories to this, okay? Now, we're intentionally playing differently this season. That's why it looks different to last season, albeit we're only about 3 goals behind last season's mark at this point in the season. The other part of it could be that, we're trying to adapt to the new players that come in. 2 members of our midfield have been replaced with Declan Rice plus another player in the left 8 position, whether it be Trossard, whether it be Havertz. And I think we carry
the
everything.
difference is the fullbacks aren't attacking and not,
Well, no,
not
everything.
as forward. That's
our
why our
forward,
defense is better.
our wingers,
defense
our
is
forwards.
better, making the offense worse because we don't have 4 sets of wingers.
I think
2 sets.
everything's
That's what-
coming
yeah.
from midfield. Tony, everything's coming from midfield because our defense is similar. Our forwards are similar. You change the midfield up, you're going to get a little bit something different as well. In midfield.
We're not playing our fullbacks as wingers like we were last year. That's why Timber was doing good, because he was stopping at a certain position on the pitch. White was doing that as well. They get this kind of different style of play. Which, I mean, he had to learn at some point that high line is not going to work in the Premier League. Teams are picking us apart left and right, and still we're at points this season when we weren't being as disciplined in defense.
Mm-hmm. Boss said our captain Odegaard is brilliant and get Jorginho a penalty kick to get confidence back as he missed 3 for Italy. The Carabao Cup, man, we should have won that. City were out. I agree with you. City were out. Here's where I disagree with you. Or did Arteta throw it away, or did the players on the field not rise to the challenge? The players that were picked, that did not rise to the challenge. I know we differ a little bit on that, even on the panel here. Listen, I think Arteta can make mistakes and pick the wrong side, but I think the players out on the field have to have that responsibility to go and challenge and win the game when possible. And it was a bad night. It was wet. It was rainy, and the players weren't up for it. It was horrible. Ramsdale would play between the sticks, and I don't think the team helped Ramsdale in whatever stance he was trying to show that he could be a goalkeeper that can challenge Raya. Odegaard back from a hip flexor and concussion, ready to rock and roll press again. So maybe it's a sign that Odegaard's he's been injured and he's going to come back now. You know what I mean? We're looking for little flickers in the team now. Martinelli to get going, Odegaard to get going. Things that we saw last season, we haven't necessarily saw them this season so far. And Martinelli looks like he's up for it as well. Odegaard too. So I'd probably look for those 2 players against Wolves to kick on again, especially Odegaard. What was the reason we didn't score many goals in the second half of the Lens game? I think naturally just sit back. The team that comes out, the French team comes out in the second half, they don't want to concede any more goals. The Arsenal players don't want to, they want to save themselves a little bit for the Wolves game.
Yeah, but you could have saved yourself by doing 4 halftime substitutions.
Yeah, yeah.
The,
And I
the
think
two, the two that
Arteta was a
happened
little
did
bit
not
slow
happen.
to that, Tony. Arteta was a little bit slow to that as well.
I mean, to me, is that the first two you would make? Is those 2 defensive substitutions? I would not. There are other
No.
players need more
I
rest.
think it was right to take off Bukayo Saka. He was right to take off Bukayo Saka and maybe take Rice off a little earlier as well.
Yeah, they just not come off fast enough.
Yeah. And some people talked about maybe giving Ramsdale, making that switch for the goalkeeper.
I wouldn't. You never waste that one. Why would you ever do that for?
The Red John said Xhaka was also red card prone. Let's not take all the good and forget the bad. Exactly.
No, we're taking what happened last season. We're not. If we want to go full blown red, yeah, we can and go.
Gary, we
You know what?
can't
He
look
was
at
terrible
last
for
season.
the.
You can't look at
first
last
6 years.
season. You already told me that.
We're talking about Granit
Xhaka.
Xhaka.
He didn't play for us this season.
He's not with us, so we can't talk about
We
him.
were talking about him. Big difference.
Yeah, in context, Tony. But you bring every subject back to
Bring up
Lacazette.
Xhaka, so we talk about it. Now you're
That's
complaining
not
because
bringing it
we're
up.
talking.
That's what he did with him. He's a
Yeah, you brought him up,
striker.
so it's your fault. Slap yourself in the face because you're the one that brought him. You brought up the topic.
You get a
Gary,
striker, and you have another striker.
let me ask you.
Striker.
Let me ask you a pointed question to both Gary and Tony. Gary, I'll go with you first. If we had Granit Xhaka at Newcastle, away to Newcastle this season, would the result have been different?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we would have gotten something out of that game if Granit Xhaka was up at Newcastle. Tony?
I mean, that was the whole point of letting him go to get somebody better, and we didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that's on Arsenal and our.
He was the one who would, for right or wrong, be getting in the faces of people, opposing players.
Yeah, but he didn't do that last season.
He did
worried about going towards the goal. That was his.
Yeah, but he did confront players when those incidents occurred, Tony.
Then he would have got a fucking red card, which was just brilliant.
I just think we missed that. Whatever he was bringing to the table, we definitely missed that, and I don't believe it was only just offense.
If you put Zinchenko at the left 8 and give him Granit Xhaka's role last season, who does a better job? It's Zinchenko.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Zinchenko doesn't have. He's not better than Xhaka.
For physical, when it comes to physical stuff,
he's not better because I've never seen him play much as a midfielder to start a game.
He does it all the time for his country.
I can't talk about what he does elsewhere. I can only talk about what he does for Arsenal.
For us, he was in the midfield because he would be on the left side of the midfield, attacking midfield. Then you have Granit. That was almost always right at the 16-yard box.
So look, it's an interesting debate if we are missing, quote unquote, missing Granit Xhaka. I don't know if we're missing. Well, I don't know if we're missing him, but there are some elements of
the
his
fucking
game.
guy kept us from the Champions League for 5 seasons.
There are some elements of his game that we enjoyed last season that we're not getting this season.
We have the players to fill in and do it.
The Minder situation. You don't really have a player who's going to take care of another player in that situation. Granit Xhaka was there to be the Minder for some players last season. Red John said he was an offensive player. That's why Arteta moved him upwards. Right now, we're not struggling defensively. We're keeping more clean sheets without Granit Xhaka. True. And you're right. We have to play differently this season because last season no one respected us enough to play low blocks against us. This season we've adapted to the low block plays. It hasn't been pretty at times, but we're top of the league with Eddie Nketiah. No disparity on him being our top goal scorer because I think we have spread a lot of goals across
That's
the
the
team.
disappointing part.
Yeah,
I mean, him being our leading
he's
scorer
he's our leading
is
scorer.
not a good sign for us because that means that our starters aren't performing.
Yeah, it means those players you expect to be scoring more goals than him have not exceeded him yet. You know what I mean? Is that Gary? Is that due to Saka being double teamed as well? You know, they pay more
I think we've
attention to
missed a
Bukayo
lot of
Saka and
opportunities, so I
Martinelli.
think we haven't been clinical in front of the goal more than we're not getting as many opportunities. I think it's we have to be more clinical or we have to create more chances, right? Now having Havertz there isn't going to create those chances for us, right? The early part of this season, it didn't help us at all.
Yeah.
He's playing a little bit better now, but I don't know if our creativity is the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the thing. Is like Odegaard is the one that usually creates for us, and we don't see that enough. I mean, even in the game yesterday, I didn't feel like we saw a lot of creativity from Odegaard as I would have liked. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't recall if you. I don't know if you saw something different, but it didn't seem like he created much. I mean, the
No.
ball went up. The ball went up to the wings, and that's where all the magic happened from outside and bringing it in.
Yep.
Nothing through the middle,
Well,
or
there was a
nothing
lot
through,
of
or nothing through Odegaard. Let's just say that.
no. There was a lot of good combination between the front three players and the forward line. Stefan has joined the party. He wants to check in and ask if Tony Turner is behaving himself. Oh no, he's not.
Tony's all right. I'm back. Tony's been all right. He hasn't done anything we don't expect. No surprises. Let's just say that. I think surprises is where that's when he starts misbehaving. Everything so far has been just, that's Tony.
If you want a debate with Tony, you take one side, you know he'll take the other side. That's what's happening tonight. He's in full debate mode.
Isn't that what you do as a debater? That you practice being on both sides of it?
Take the opposite side. Yes, indeed.
Isn't that what the best debaters do, Ray?
Yes. And you're one of the best debaters out there. Gary's like, please stop right now. Our lad's just growing.
Gary's like, where's this going? I don't know where it's going. I'm scared.
Tony, you are a master at it. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm trying to figure out why Gary doesn't have a city.
Our lad's just growing, becoming smarter, more mature pros. Glad we have talent to be patient with the low blocks and not get frustrated and win. It's a good time to be an Arsenal fan, Gary. We're up here. We're top of the tree. We have problems. I think every team has problems, right? But right now, our problems are not insurmountable.
Our problems aren't what?
They're not insurmountable.
No. I mean, one is we just have to learn how to play with the players we got. We can't be waiting for the next guy to come healthy. Just play, it's supposed to be a squad game, right?
Yeah.
So we can't be like, well, since we don't have this person, we can't play anymore. Nah.
Tony, Moss went there. You're a bad influence, Tony. Here we go. Would you prefer to take the Champions League or the Premier League? Interesting. Give me a choice. I'd take the Champions League.
Yeah.
Right? We've never won it yet. And when you have a debate or talk with rival fans, they will say, where's your Champions League? So it would be nice to get that in this era. We never won the Champions League, so that would be great. Red John said, I'd personally go for the Champions League. Since there's not many teams I view as a threat outside of Real Madrid and City, I think we can take anyone. Interesting point. And I think Jamie Carragher said this yesterday. We're probably the best team after Man City, in Jamie Carragher's opinion. Real Madrid have that aura and history about them. They would be tough. If we would go up against a Real Madrid, Gary, it would be a difficult game that they would give us.
Yeah, I mean,
Bellingham,
we have to
Like, we
overcome
go.
kind of have to overcome the knockout round European play we've had so far, right? Because in the knockouts we've had some really demoralizing losses, right?
Yeah.
With Arteta at the helm. So getting out of the group hasn't been as much as an issue in Europe. It's in the knockout rounds when you have the 2 games home and away to play that we've struggled, because I think we come out and we don't. We have to play like our hair's on fire essentially with some sense of urgency, and we don't. So we need. We'll see. We'll see.
We
Yeah.
haven't gotten out of a round of 16 the
Yeah,
last 6 times we've been there.
and both the times,
Whoa,
or every
that's
time we played,
close.
every time we played it, we've always played against teams that I think all of us believe that we should have been able to beat.
Mhm.
I mean, Sporting.
These are things that Arsenal have
Real,
to
Real.
overcome, right,
Yeah.
Gary? This playing. You call it playing down to the opposition.
Yep.
Yep.
Right?
Would we
Like
do
that
that in the
the
Champions
first
League?
half today, they made mistakes. We made them pay all the time, right? So that's what we need to do. And
Yeah. Moss
if
says,
you can play City twice and only give up 1 goal in a season, right? I think you should be able to compete with most teams.
this is interesting. This is why you always set up with the wall behind you. And Gary, you've done it right, Gary. You've done it right.
I did it right.
Tony, you have not done it right. Red John says Tony looks like he's on one of those horror movie sets where someone in a scream mask is going to come out of the background with a knife, come out of the darkness out of one of those arches. We've done it right, Gary. There's nobody behind us.
No, nobody coming through. Even though I do have a window over here to my left, so
yeah, I think
you might see a hand reach out and grab me if
on a movie set they can break through the windows easily.
Silently. Nobody would hear the window break.
Where'd Gary go? I don't know.
We will, no doubt, we'll talk about our potential opponents in 2 weeks. I think when we finish up round 6 or match day 6 of the Champions League, and we know the full lineup. But Gary, potentially the second place teams could be, a Napoli, it could be a PSG, it could be an RB Leipzig, it could be a Porto, Copenhagen. So Moss goes on to say Bayern Munich and Real Madrid are the only ones that scare me, but for the next round, don't think I want either Napoli or Real Sociedad or Napoli. Those are fired up places. Do you want a kind of a glamour tie in the knockout stage, Gary? Or do you want one that you maybe have a chance of getting through? Like a Porto versus a Napoli.
I mean, everybody's looking and saying there's teams that we can beat, but they all have something about them.
Yeah.
Either they're really good defensively, right?
Yeah.
Or they're just hard to beat. Or they have some history in Europe, right? Because right now it's either Porto, Leipzig, PSG, Lazio, Inter, Napoli, and then we can't play PSV. So, I mean, of those 7 teams, none of them sound like just going to be easy walkovers, right?
Yeah. And I think that's what this season is going to be about. Now we pay attention to the Premier League with 100% attention, because we know what this month is going to bring to us. Trips to Aston Villa and Liverpool this month, at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers and Brighton. So, Tony, we're really going to see what Arsenal are made of in this coming month as well.
I still stick to what I said very early in the season, actually before the season started, and I think it would be easier and more plausible of us winning the Champions League than it is getting top 4. You look at top 4, there are 2 points between 4th and 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And another 4 points back, you got the fifth place team. So
Yeah.
it's going to be tight going all the way down. Liverpool's gotten their stuff together. Luckily, Spurs are going the opposite direction right now.
I would tell you that you'd have to be a really, really poor team not to be in the top four at this point now, especially how well we're equipped right now and the players that we have. Anything outside the top two would be a disappointment for this season in the league. That's just my thoughts on it anyway. Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and City are the two teams I think that are better than us. I think we can give anyone else a real good game as well in the knockout stages. Ray John said, funny enough, we have a 100% win rate against Real Madrid when Henry turned up at the Bernabeu and scored a 1-0 against them. They had Ronaldo in that team too. Stefan says Napoli are a decent side, and I think they've got Osimhen, right?
Yep.
And I wonder what we're going to do in the summer if we're going to break the bank and go for Victor Osimhen. That'll be interesting.
Couldn't we already done it?
We should have already done it.
I said, couldn't we have already done it?
Probably would have been more difficult this summer after getting Declan Rice,
Yeah, but it would have been cheaper than Rice has been somewhere between Rice and Havertz. The Havertz money plus what we sold their academy striker for pays for those.
For who?
For
who?
The money used on Havertz.
No, what
Why
player?
Anderson
I was asking
Havertz?
what player are you talking about?
Osimhen.
No. You think we had another 40 mil on top of
We
this
did have
stuff?
another 40 mil.
Where?
The 40 mil we got for selling a certain striker that we never gave a proper chance to.
Malaga.
No, but we didn't have another 40. We need to have a 40 on top of that.
Yeah, what do you think Osimhen would have went for this past summer?
100 easy.
Easily 100.
If Rice is 100, Osimhen is 100, at least.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's been some dialogue between the club that we are interested. I mean, you hear rumors all the time. We're interested in Ivan Toney. We're interested in Victor Osimhen, but definitely there is a position at striker where
we could have picked up an extra 30 or 40 million if we wanted to sell.
Yeah, but where?
Smith Rowe. I just gave you the answer.
Nobody's buying him for
Smith
30.
Rowe.
I wish they would, but they weren't going to.
Here we
For
go.
me, anyways, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I don't think any of our
Still a long time left on his contract.
Yeah, but he's injury prone, and we weren't even playing him, right?
Yeah. The game time he had to get was with the under 21s with England, where they won that trophy.
He did well there, and then he comes back to the team, and we can't get him on the pitch anymore.
Yep. It's disappointing that Mikel Arteta does seem to find time for some players, but while not others, it looks that way from the outside. Anyway, I guess second place of Newcastle, PSG, AC Milan, Dortmund isn't going to be easy. Yeah, we could get a PSG. All decent sides. And look, you get into the knockout stages and you take your chances. Arsenal fan circle, who would you like to see play in our sixth group game in the UCL now that we have qualified? I don't think it's very controversial to say I would like to see Aaron Ramsdale. Let's pick the team, right? We all kind of agree Aaron Ramsdale should get that dead rubber Champions League game. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole like extra 30, 40 mil is an FFP issue. It's not a do we have the cash.
Do we really throw players in there like that are just hanging around the club like Cedric at right back? Give him a Champions League game.
Give who?
Cedric. What do you want to send any kind of real team out there, Gary?
Well,
When
you're saying Cedric, so obviously you're not thinking about putting a real team out there.
Correct. I'm not, because we have Aston Villa.
I think that would be.
It's between difficult fixtures. It's between Aston Villa and Brighton. Those are going to be difficult games. So we really need to throw this this game that's not going to mean anything.
We're not going to do it, right?
Okay.
I just don't. I mean, I don't think we can just roll over.
Based on our history, what makes you think we're just going to throw in the crappiest players? Arteta always goes with a strong team, so. Yeah,
well, you have to look at the fixture list, and I'm sure you're doing that right now.
He's looking at the fixture list. When you're up 5-0, who comes off? It would be Saka, Odegaard, Jesus. Those guys are coming off at halftime.
I think they come off at 60 minutes. What's more beneficial? Is it more beneficial to give them a full hour to keep their fitness levels high? Or is it more beneficial to give them 45 minutes in this Champions League game? We're talking about this.
That's like 5 or 6 hard tackles on Saka if he plays an extra 20 minutes. So you take him off.
Anyway, I think we should send a team, not a very good team, out to Holland, the Netherlands, to play PSV. Mm-hmm. We're going to play Aston Villa away from home the Saturday or Sunday before, and the weekend after we have Brighton coming to town.
Followed up with Liverpool, West Ham.
Yep. So it's going to be a difficult month, Gary, and we need to start off. We'll be talking about Wolves in a little bit, but we need to kick December off with a win against Wolverhampton Wanderers because it gets difficult after this. We have Luton very quickly as well next Tuesday.
Those are games. The next 2 games should hopefully be games where we don't have to play certain players after either a half or after 50, 60 minutes,
Because these games are going to come pretty quick now, and then we'll have that mid-season break in January with FA Cup tie as well. We're getting Mbappe, so we need to relax as BX.
All of these things that we're talking about, Arsenal, even Mbappe, they don't help us this season. So for me, I don't even I really like talking about the January window when we just started the season, which is what we're doing. Now we're talking about deals they're not going to happen until the summer. Can we? Hello, James.
BX is just he's very relaxed right now, and he's having fun.
No, but in general, there is a lot of talk about players that aren't even coming in January. Right? Yeah. They're coming in the summer because Mbappe, nobody's paying the 100 or so million to get him, right? When he can just walk for free.
This time last year, we were talking about Mudryk. You know what I mean? And that never really happened either. So
Mudryk and Mbappe aren't even on the same
correct
universe. It's the same level.
Exactly, I agree with you. Obviously, Stefan said Man City will be difficult to displace, but it's refreshing to see Arsenal competing again for those top places. And we've come a long way. We've come a long way in 4 or 5 years. We've gone from, Tony, a certain Cluedo character who used to be a defender for us.
What?
Colonel Mustard. We've come from Colonel Mustard to Saliba. We've gone from Colonel Mustafi to Saliba. Let that sink in.
Yeah, I saw they're showing some video of Mustafi, and it's definitely Benny Hill music quality defending. I mean, all the things that he was doing, it looked like he was trying to get a red card, and he can't even do that correctly.
He won a World Cup. He's got a World Cup winner's medal.
Should we Kick him off the show, Tony. Just talking even more nonsense than usual.
Gary
I
does
get.
have
I always get tired of hearing
power.
about. It's
you
like
have the power,
oh,
Gary.
yes,
You have the power.
you're on the team. You're on the team that wins a thing. That doesn't mean you're a good player. I don't know why people always say that. Oh, he was on a Gold Cup winning team. Oh, he was on a Champions League winning team. How much of an impact did a certain player have on that? Usually not very much.
He had to be decent as a defender. He had to have been decent.
He had the positional awareness of a
Who was the
traffic
starting
cone,
defensive
right?
player for that team?
Who was? He wasn't.
Who was?
I don't know. It wasn't him. He was
Okay.
probably on the bench. To be fair, Red John said Osman will be cheap now. The player's relationship with Napoli is broken down. He won't sign any contract renewals. Seems like
it's still going to be $100 million. I mean, it'll be
Yeah.
cheap now, but it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be that cheap. I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
It's a quality player.
Yeah.
And if
price-
teams are interested, it's going to be a lot of money.
the price will be the price, but he may be more willing to move. And then
How do we pay for him? Because we're going to be in financial fair play trouble land. We don't have that much money to spend.
Yeah, listen, I think the whole deal with David Raya is a pointer to us maybe being close to financial fair play issues, that we had to structure a loan of $3 million with an option to buy of $27 million. So there's probably going to have to be some outgoings coming along, and we got Balogun out the door for $40 million. Couple of players you mentioned earlier already, Tony. Emile Smith-Rowe could be another one, and Thomas Partey. The Saudi league may be very profitable to us as well. Who knows what's going to happen?
There are only 4 teams profitable that race since those are before owned by the Saudi fund. That's why they spent the money, because it's just 4 teams. It's not the entire league. It's just
Red John said the 30-40 million we need could be extracted from Kroenke's Walmart heiress. This is what Tony, you said this before. There you go, Gary.
No.
The man's not going to get money from his missus.
It's not. It's FFP. It has nothing to do with how much money you have. If you couldn't afford to buy Rhea, then there's no way you would have $100 million to buy.
It's about
any attacker.
It's spending within the means of the money that you can generate commercially.
We definitely needed a Timber. Rice we wanted. We didn't have $100 million after that.
But you got more rights to be tired than me. All right. Any kind of real team, LOL. CEO Boo says you guys should be wary about Arteta's management in knockout rounds. I think there's only one team that can win anything at the end of the day. Does that mean that of all the teams that go into the knockout rounds, are 15 of the coaches or managers infallible or wrong?
No, Arteta I believe what he's talking about is Arteta's history in European knockout rounds.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
Lackluster.
Disappointing.
Outside of the first 6 months when we
No. Knockout round European football.
FA Cup is a knockout round.
European.
Ray, you would say piss poor. Let's move on.
The comment is not related to.
We're talking about European, not domestic.
How do you know that? CEO, can you tell us if it's
stop
domestic?
Stop going for Uncle Ari and tell us what you really
3
think.
of the knockouts.
It's been piss poor.
In knockout round, so it could be an FA Cup, it could be a cup competition, and it could be.
No.
Come on,
the
Ray.
most disappointing has been the way we've got knocked out of European.
You had the Granit Xhaka moment in there. It's piss poor, right?
Yeah. There's been situations down through the years where we have jettisoned FA Cup campaigns to maintain.
That's
with
what we
us.
did by
Yeah.
not actually putting out a team that could win. We actually tried to win the European knockout rounds, and for
Yeah.
me, it looked like we just did not have the right coaching.
Just don't forget we put a midfielder as the left back. Just remember that.
Zinchenko, is that what you mean?
No, Saka we used.
Granit Xhaka.
That was
So-
I don't think that was in the European Cup.
Yeah, it was.
I thought that was just in a domestic. I thought that was when towards the end of the season when we
Against
had
Everton.
injuries
Yeah.
and he played, and it was
Yeah.
a Premier League game late in the season, and we put him at
No,
left back
we-
when we
was
needed.
against
Remember how we
Everton.
needed to win one of three
Well-
games and we lost all three
Yes.
to teams that were
Yeah.
terrible. That's when he
we
played
did
left
it
back.
on 2 different occasions.
Well, the last one was the most disappointing one when I think we lost to what is it, Southampton or
We
something like
we
that.
did it in Europe. I promise you.
Yeah, let's get through a few more comments here. So let's remember that one being wary about the knockout rounds. Ramsdale, Kivior, White, Walters, Elneny. There you go. Just a few names that could go to Holland for that final game. I'm just super stoned. New bubblegum gelato vape pen. Tony knows. From his words to Tony's ears. CEO Bu said the whole front line should have been taken off at halftime. Sure, we're heading into a very busy month here where we're going to need these minutes in the players' legs. Emil Smith-Rowe, if healthy, or Ranieri and Nelson and Cozier Dubry. There you go. We have a team. Moss put a team out there.
Team out there.
BX really thought this was a Pink Floyd stream about getting stoned and think he was watching David Gilmour interview. There we go. Arsenal won't get any players in the winter. I think we'll get a couple.
It's hard to tell. Like, are we going to get 2 that we want that are going to be contributors, or are we just going to get 2 for that?
Do you think?
For the hell of it, kind of thing.
Do you think David Luiz would come to? Not David Luiz.
Do we need more
Douglas.
defense? We need
Do
more
we need
defensive
David
players.
Luiz
Is that what you're
again?
trying to say? One, you
Douglas.
say David Luiz, and 2,
Douglas Luiz.
is defense what we need?
Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa.
Oh, Douglas Luiz.
Slight difference, very minor
Yes,
difference in player.
yeah, okay.
I'm like
Not
Eddie
even
from
Freudian
2 years
slip.
ago.
You just, it wasn't even like it was something, yeah.
We
No,
were
I
supposed to
know
get Gary.
How I
We
know
were
if
supposed
David
to get
Luiz
Douglas
still plays
Luiz.
or not.
We were supposed to get Douglas Luiz on deadline day, and we got David Luiz. That's what happened.
no, that was not what happened. But anyways, no, I mean, everybody now wants Douglas Luiz when we had a chance to get him, and we didn't want to pay. What was it, like 15, 20 mil
25
for him or something?
25 million.
And now he's supposed to be worth like double that. So
40.
Arsenal, what? Now they're gonna double it now because you know what? They could have got him last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it seemed like they were doing that because of injuries, right? Because Partey or El Neni both got hurt or something like that. And they could have got him for 25, and 25 sounds like nothing now, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you needed to, that could have been the difference in the season too. Based on the way he's playing now, I don't know if we got the same Douglas Luiz that season.
I have to give Emery some props as well. The way he's got Aston Villa playing.
Yeah, there's no way Douglas Luiz is going to leave a team sitting 4th in the league.
They will give us a tough game up there. Arsenal
I
players.
would still want to see what happened with Emery if he had the backing that Arteta has received.
Yeah,
Because he couldn't even get the winger that he wanted.
yeah, he wanted
He wanted Zaha. He didn't want Pepe.
I got a history with Tony. We've got history with Tony. We know these. We know where he's going with these things.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody believes that he was supported
Correct.
by Arsenal.
By the-
Yeah,
Supported
but
at all.
the thing you don't do, you're third going into the October.
Yeah, it was like late October. You were third in the league. You had beaten
And
Bournemouth 2-0.
then you have all 3/4 of your fans wanting the manager sacked when you're in third. You don't do that.
We can read your watch, Tony. Tony in Central Time Zone too.
Yay!
Arsenal players have to lift the trophy, or they'll go through what Liverpool went through. Only so many times the same team can lose and keep their hunger. I think what happened to us last season was what happened to Liverpool versus City, and I'm hoping this season is the next season after, where Liverpool went that little bit further. You know what I mean?
I think you'd have a replay of what happened the last time, right?
Huh?
A replay of what happened the last time when Liverpool and Chelsea both finished outside the top 4, 8th and 10th. I mean, I would not be surprised if Liverpool wins because they don't have to worry about Europe at all.
If Liverpool wins, what, in December 23rd or what?
The Premier League, sure.
You would. So you think Liverpool? You wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool won the Premier League this year. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal won the Premier League. I mean, there's three teams in this league now. I would discount Tottenham. I would discount Aston Villa, but they are good, solid teams that could potentially finish in top 4.
You can't really discount them because they're going to be taking points off.
Yeah, and I welcome that. I welcome a 3 and 4 team race. So no team is going to hit 90 points or beyond 90 points to win the league this season, I believe. Red John said,
Okay.
we offer. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be like the last time we got 75 points and then it finished in the top 4. I think it's going to be very close to what happened this season.
At the time, 5 or 6 years ago, 75 points would have been enough for top 4 easily.
I mean, historically, always been plenty to get past.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that year.
We offer Ramsdale and Kadia, Cedric, Elneny, Reese, Fabio for Osman. Seems like a good deal.
Plus, they're going to still ask for 100 mil.
We still have to take the cushions off of the couch and put our hands down the back of that couch.
You don't want to know what you'll find.
Like not only one of those players could be a starter for them if they don't have a goalkeeper.
It's always funny when things you find back there. Though. You're like, oh, that's where that went. I haven't seen it for 4 years, but it's been hiding in the couch.
Good to see new faces in here once in a while. Beside the first half season, Arteta's piss poor in any knockout rounds. I would put forward a very, very weak argument that there was extenuating circumstances.
There were no extenuating circumstances why we lost to
competitions.
Where we stop it. The 3 exits out of European football, not English Cup games. All right.
Olympiacos.
You think we should have lost to them? Sporting, you think we should have lost to them?
No.
Villarreal, you think we should have lost to them?
No.
Okay.
But it happened. I can't refute that. It happened. But that means I can't also deny that we're a lot better now than we were even last season.
Yeah, we're getting that's the one thing we can steady improving every year.
Declan Rice.
Like this year, I said it was going to be tough because we're competing on all 4 fronts, and we're seeing it. Everybody said, "How are we going to do when we have to put our stronger teams in Champions League?" And so far, we've been able to handle that, right? Last season, I don't think we could have handled that. And that's why I always thought last season was disappointing the way that he played it out. He played the European, Europa League like it was, a Carabao Cup essentially.
I don't know. He played it strong. He played Saliba.
We had like so many players out of the lineup that they were so disjointed. He had to keep bringing in his starters in most games.
Yeah.
as opposed
I
to
thought,
taking
yeah,
out a small percentage of his starters so he can keep the continuity and the playing style, together. So
shout out to Spencer here. Per Romano, Villa refused to sell Luis 2 summers ago. Yeah, for 25 million. Probably the worst thing about the pandemic, to be honest. I don't know what I said here to make Tiger and Gunnar go, oh no, Ray. I was probably David Luiz when I said David Luiz. Think Spuds are blowing themselves out of the reckoning. Yeah, it's the history of the Tottenham. It's their DNA, and they really thought they were going places under Ange, and the steady or sudden decline is fun to enjoy, right? Liking the way we're going at a steady pace. Yeah. Our last game when we got eliminated, the lineup could have been better, but we lost the lead by that game, and we lost Tomiyasu as well in the same game. Spencer, it was kind of a death knell to our season, Tony.
No, it wasn't.
Losing Saliba and Tomiyasu together in one game was a death knell to our season.
No, but death knell to our season was choosing Mr. Let's get some hair plugs up there, Mr. Rob Holding, instead of a
Yeah.
guy we bought.
Why did we choose Rob Holding? Because we had injury to Saliba and Tomiyasu. Therefore,
We had a
death knell.
player. Why did we spend the money we did in the winter on a backup defender and we didn't play the guy? He could have saved our season.
I don't think he could have saved our season. He could have mitigated.
Is he better than Rob Holding?
Yes, he could have mitigated our season a little bit better, but I don't think it would have saved our season.
How many points did we lose by? Right?
We lost by 5 points in the end.
And you don't think Kivior could have picked us up 5 points?
I don't think KVR would have changed any of the results.
Yes, he would have. And also the fact that if we kept the guy that made us score more, and he was scoring more, if we kept Trossard up there instead of bringing Jesus back, we definitely would have won.
No, that's definitely more of a sound argument when you say that. But when you're going to tell me KVR could have saved our season,
I think he could have
over Rob Holding.
Defense.
I'm not saying Rob Holding's better than KVR, but I'm not saying KVR is much better than Rob Holding either.
He's a lot better than Rob Holding.
You go to Man City with KVR in the lineup, you're still losing that game 4-1.
Nope.
Gary, what do you think? Do you think KVR would have made a key difference in our season over
that's
Rob
why
Holding?
I didn't want to bring him in if he wasn't going to be helpful to the squad. And obviously
He was
the same sort of deal that when we brought in Odegaard. We brought in Odegaard with the intention of keeping him for later for the summer. We just got him in early. At that point in the season, once again, we need a player to come in January to actually help us in January, right? Kivior wasn't ready to do that, or else he would have played, because Trossard played, Jorginho played, right? So for me, it was a waste. It was a waste of a player to bring in if he's not going to help us.
It's because what Arteta always does. He has his pets. Who got the captain band several times that should have never got it? Rob Holding.
I can't deny.
And what were we told the winter before? A dude told us we didn't go out and sign anybody because we were afraid of getting players that would derail the project. So either they did that last year by buying Kivior, or Arteta refused to play the guy. What about you?
I look. You have to target a centre back who's going to be willing to sit behind Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, but
And
also
we also have a choice. We could have went with 3 center backs,
Yeah, I mean,
which
I
we
don't.
did not do.
I think Kyrgios was not the right answer because he wasn't going to play, and he didn't play.
But
I mean,
I
Arteta-
think the question is, Gary, when Saliba and Tomiyasu got injured, do you think Kivior would have been any different look than playing Rob Holding? Would Kivior had saved?
like I said, the
points
fact that he didn't play meant he wasn't better than Holding in Arteta's eyes,
in Arteta's eyes,
and that
yeah.
was the problem I had in the whole situation. Why are you bringing in a player that's not going to help you?
Yeah.
He had to be better than Holding. He had to, or else it doesn't make any
I mean,
sense. Kyrgios was
Just-
better.
Let's say
I'm sorry,
He's
but
been subbed in
but
several
Trossard
times.
was
This
better than Nketiah. Is better than Emil Smith-Rowe. Better than anybody else sitting behind our front line. Jorginho definitely better than El Neni.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kyrgios not better than Holding is not a good. It's not a good signing.
Even if
Yeah, but he
Kivior
is better.
Kivior is better than Holding.
He isn't. If he was, he would have played. Arteta didn't see it that way, and that's why he thought it was a bad move in the
When
first
he's
place.
got subbed on this year, has our defense dropped any? No, it hasn't.
No,
I'm telling you why I didn't want him. It's because he was not going to get on the pitch last year, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He needed to be. We needed to be able to start him in games. We couldn't.
I think
We
it's
could have.
Do
We
that.
could have. Somebody refused to.
No,
I think it's
that's
Tony,
the problem right there. If he's not going to put him on to start, then he shouldn't be on. He shouldn't be in the team.
I think it's a strong statement to say Kivior would have saved more points being dropped than Rob Holding.
The 3 games that we drew are the problem just as much as the injuries we had.
Yeah.
I mean, Saka had a penalty, missed it. You go up 2-0 at Anfield and you can't hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Problem, all right? You go, Southampton.
3-3.
You give up a goal. You go down 2-0. Not good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
West Ham, once again, you have a lead. Can't hold on. Problem.
Man
Right?
City.
Man City. Well, that's not really. We didn't need to win that game. That's the thing.
I just think I think it's just a piss poor excuse to say Saliba cost us.
It didn't. It was one of the. If you want to look at
one of our best defenders.
It's one. If you want to, it's one of the list of things that hurt us. Not being clinical, playing terribly, and it had nothing to do with Saliba, right? Saliba being out, Tomiyasu being out, basically meant you had depth and starting, player issues right there. Right? And then Partey hitting the wall.
Yeah, Partey, he was a ghost up at Man City.
He hit the wall, right? Because you saw it exactly. You saw it in the City match. Was he? Yep. I mean, the City match basically was like, what's going on here?
Spencer says Kivior. I agree with this. Kivior is better than Holding, but that doesn't mean that putting Kivior in would have saved us any points. Spencer goes on.
That's not what he said.
I know. Well, Spencer goes on to say that wasn't the sentiment of the fan base during that time. Losing Saliba was detrimental. I was just putting my little editor's.
You can't speak for Spencer.
I did. I'm not. I'm speaking for me.
You actually said Spencer, blah blah blah, and then you went off on your own tangent.
Yeah, it's called an editorial. Note.
I bet Spencer's lawyers will be calling you up saying, "Dude, keep my client's name out your mouth."
I should protect my cheeks then.
This is a Ray tries to excel at causing conflict, but
I just think
we're wise to your
Tony.
game,
I just think if at any point this season we have Saliba out through injury, we may struggle against the bigger teams if we're missing a Saliba. The 3-game stretch was the nail in the coffin. I said that verbatim. Everybody's witness to that. Spencer goes on to say Saliba had shut down Haaland in 2 games so far. So that's the difference, Tony. Saliba shutting Haaland down twice this season. Kivior or Holding would not be able to do that. You know what I mean?
A friendly does not count.
That was not a friendly. That was the season opener Charity Shield. You know?
Friendly, Ray.
See, Spencer knows. All good. So, Gary, all good. Red, John.
You have to read into those emojis you put on there, Ray.
It's a laughing emoji. Red John says, in all seriousness, Holding has won us an FA Cup with Mertesacker as his partner. Kivior hasn't done anything for us yet. I'm not hearing Kivior props over Holding. I don't think there's much difference between the two, but I do think Kivior might be better. Saliba is 100% world class. And, you know, if we, God forbid, we have a Saliba injury this season, it's going to look different.
Keep talking about it.
I know. I'm going to shut up.
You keep bringing it up for some reason. I'm not sure why. You keep bringing
I'm
it
gonna
up.
But he's not our best defender, though. So
You just like I think you probably brought it up at least 4 times so far since we just started talking about defense.
I'm not saying it again. Okay. Latch on to what Tony just said.
Gabriel is better than him.
I think they both have good traits defensively.
Yeah.
So they work
but
on each other.
who's cost us more penalties and stuff? It's Saliba.
They both have their good traits.
Good traits.
Brett John said karma came for Steven Gerrard when he convinced Luis to stay at Villa, which caused Luis to get a red card the following game and Aston Villa to lose. Stevie G was sacked. Gerrard also convinced Luis Suarez not to join Arsenal. When he was at Liverpool, he told Suarez to go to Barcelona. Thank you, Stevie G. So
he actually wanted to come to Arsenal.
On a level, on a 1 to 10 scale, Tony, how high are you? 10 being really the highest you can ever be, and 1 being completely sober.
1. I was going to go 0 because I
Okay.
started off.
So you're stone cold sober right now.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Tony is high in altitude, says Red John. Could be. Oxygen's not getting to the brain.
I can just blame it on the stroke.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary, anything else to add to the Champions League last night? Is Ben White in competition with Tomiyasu for his starting spot? Huh?
No, I think people are showing up, so that's good. I just think we have to just maintain that kind of competition there. So, I mean, Ben White has been good for Arsenal. Tomiyasu's showed up a little bit and showed a little bit more. It's up to Ben White to then return the favor. I mean, right? I think Ben White has scored for us this season, right? So, I think, yeah, that's what we want. We want to be able to say, look, we've got answers no matter what, right? So, yeah.
There you go. Monday. Keep this one in the memory banks, Gary. Monday. Gabriel versus Saliba. I mean, we've been there, right? We've been there.
Yeah,
I think definitely you can have a debate, definitely, and Alonso would be.
They're different players for me, so I think.
Yeah, but Alonso blames Gabriel for.
I'm not Alonso. You want to have that competition with him? Go right ahead.
Ray just mentioned Alonso.
I did. I said Alonso would take one side, and you could take the other. That's all I'm saying. They complement each other, Gary, in much the same way. If I'm looking at Manchester United defenders,
yeah, but which one of them has given away 2 penalties? Which one?
Gabriel.
Both have been bad for that, though, because we've seen Gabriel do things that have ended up hurting him
Gabriel has
games,
not
right?
gave away penalties.
Gabriel
That
has
cost
gotten
us
what?
games.
He's gotten 2 red cards when we needed him not
Which
to, right?
penalties were they, Tony? Was it this season?
And they hurt us in those games.
One this season, one last season.
All right, which one did he concede this season? I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember the one he gave away. Spencer goes on to say best partnership in the Premier League. Gabriel and Saliba, definitely, 100%.
We know one thing that doesn't work, and that's Saliba and Ben White.
Saliba and Ben White. We're gonna slip Saliba and Ben White. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna do this quick. The Tony Dunn one, man in the match. Who are you giving it to for yesterday's game? I mean,
I think
a lot of players played really well. I'm gonna give it to Tomiyasu. 2 assists.
I'm going to do what they've done twice in the NFL. Just give it. They did it like for defense or offensive line, but I'll just give it to the whole team because I don't think not one player stuck out.
Tomiyasu with 2 assists at left back when we talk about players doing what they're supposed to do.
I
2
don't think
assists by
anybody
him.
stuck out.
2 assists from Tomiyasu as a right back, I think is really good.
Yeah,
he could have had another one as well. He looked really good defensively. He looked really good offensively.
One was pure luck, Gary. He only had one.
He put the ball in the box. That's what he's supposed to do.
Assist
It was pure.
No,
Right.
but no. In general,
It's
yeah,
still
that one is considered an assist. But he had one. He had an opportunity early in the game, which also did not happen. Right. So for me, he had a really good game.
One of them was pure luck, Gary.
No. Yes, the second one was. But I'm talking about his play in general. He looked really
Nobody
good.
stood out more than anybody else.
He did. A lot of people are saying Jesus stood out, but I don't see it as much as I see what
Alonso's here when you start talking about
Tomiyasu did.
Talk about Gabriel Magalhaes and Alonso pops up. There you go.
It's actually like Alonso stood up for the last couple of times.
We'll give it to Tomiyasu. The Tony Turner I couldn't give a shit award.
Nobody stood out, I don't think.
Tony's fan circle is in session right now. Tony, is Declan Rice the player of the season in the Premier League right now?
I don't think so.
The team that's top of the league for a player who comes to another club for 105 million and has got numerous man in the match awards within those games. Who would be your player of the season right now then to go up against Declan Rice?
Is it far enough into the season to declare one?
Huh?
So are we far enough into the season to
yeah, we're 1/3 the way. You can make a decision.
I think you have to be at the halfway point, or at least be past the holiday fixtures.
Okay, you're going to reserve judgment. Gary, Declan Rice, player of the season right now? Is there anyone else out there that's doing what he's doing right now? Not even Haaland. Haaland's really not doing what Declan Rice is doing.
Haaland isn't the first.
Right?
Haaland isn't the fastest player to 50 goals, right?
When he does, right?
Yeah.
So
Haaland just didn't get that record, right?
Huh?
Haaland just didn't give a record for the Premier League to the fastest player of 50 goals.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about this first third of the season.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Declan Rice definitely gets in that conversation.
Good shout.
There are other players out there that are playing really well for their teams. Some of them are hurt right now. So I mean,
yeah, but who comes to mind?
Madison's name has come up.
Who? Madison.
Yeah. The defensive, the center back for that team as well. His name has come up as well.
Liverpool, Van
Dijk.
Right? Liverpool fans say Van Dijk is
Van
playing
Dijk's
well.
been pretty good, right?
Mhm.
I
There you go. That's good enough.
I think Neto at one point was in the running, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's been a lot of players that made a case they've all fallen off a little bit by injury or whatnot. But I think we've had some up and down games as well for Rice. So, but he's still playing. So I think he probably gets it just because everybody else can't keep up. Right, availability is key, and he's been there for us a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So
Spencer saying this is what we would need more of this year: multiple arguments for player of the match. I don't know if it means like multiple arguments between us, like a Gabriel versus Saliba kind of way. We've done that down through the years. We've had the goalkeeper debate as well, which Tony loves. Madison has.
I thought you Gary love it because you like a certain South American player.
I thought he got away for a second there. Madison has 80 shots, goal creations, which I think is almost 15 more than the next player. Madison has been a very good addition to Tottenham. It pains me to say that. Tomiyasu, man in the match. So there we go. We're getting validation, Gary. This is a huge advancement where we have gotten to argue about the man in the match.
yeah,
True.
I mean,
Yeah. Great point.
When you have six goal scorers in a game, right? I mean,
yeah,
nobody will stand out, and they all were created totally differently. I mean, besides Tomiyasu, the only player with 2 goal contributions was Saka, and that's what Saka does. I mean, Saka is leading the Champions League in goal creations, right?
Yeah,
and he's not even playing that good.
Yep.
Right, he's not even playing that good. That's the thing. I think he's got levels to him still.
I saw a stat, Gary. I think I heard it somewhere else that he's already at this point in the Champions League format. He's already got more assists or goal involvements than Phil Foden ever got in any of his Champions League campaigns, and that would include like the final stages. So. Just taking Phil Foden would probably has not kicked on and developed that we would have.
Well, I think City doesn't need him to. If City needed him to, I bet you they would. He's the best defense for him right now. Somebody said was jokingly is Pep. Pep's the one person that's holding him back from doing what everybody thinks he can do. Because one, he doesn't play him much. He plays him all over the field. I mean. You put a Foden on a team where he has to perform. I think he might be able to do it. If everything that everybody says is true, he should be able to perform too. If he was put in a situation like Saka where he could lead the team, all right. And he puts it and he plays every game and all that kind of stuff.
I just don't think he's taking that mantle.
I don't think they need him to. When you've got Havertz, when you've got KDB. When you've got Rodri, they don't need.
No, but players come forward themselves as they mature and get older, grow into themselves.
Is he going to be better than Haaland? Is he going to be better than KDB?
No, but he has to be better than what he's done before.
No, what I'm saying is they don't need him to. They just need to be able
but what I'm saying
rotate him in and out of games. You see him.
That's irrespective. That doesn't matter.
It is respective because it actually is what's happening. They don't need him to be. They don't need him to play at Saka levels.
But he needs to be better. He needs to be better this season than he was last season.
They don't need him to. They are a much better squad. That's the problem.
The player needs.
They have a much better squad than most teams.
Yeah.
They don't need him to do anything more than he's doing.
He's not playing.
They don't need him like that. Do you understand? The requirements.
Are you telling me Phil Foden's going out saying I don't need to be any better than
I said season. City and Pep don't need him to do any more than he's doing.
But I'm sure the player wants to play better.
But you know what? Go to a different team. When players don't want to do what Pep wants to do, what does he do? He sends them away.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
Cancelo.
And does it help them? Usually not.
I think Cancelo left the setup, went to Bayern Munich, and now he's at Barcelona, scored the winner last night. But I think some players get tired of the constant need for greatness that Pep will demand from those players.
We've seen this. We see this all over, right? The Patriots. If you want to play there, you have to adhere to the way that they play football.
Yeah, yeah.
Which means you play for the team. You don't play for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And guess what? 6 championships, 6 Super Bowls later, it's been answered why they do what they do. I mean, Pep does things his way. He's done it with different teams, different players, different format. He changes things up, right?
And I think Arteta is moving along the same lines as well with Arsenal. And a lot of these situations, when it comes down to players, he's very often correct in the end. And I would put this out there that Ramsdale is an example of Arteta possibly being correct about Ramsdale over Raya, or Raya over Ramsdale, if you know what I mean. We've had Guendouzi down through the years. We've had Aubameyang, and all of those players. Do you think of all the players that left Arsenal? Have we let one go that maybe we'll regret? Maybe Balogun could be that player in a season or two over Eddie. You know what I mean?
Well, one plays in Germany already that we should have got. We were kicking around the option of buying.
Who was that?
He plays on the right side when we were looking at spending 70 to 100 million. You know who we're talking about?
You're talking about Serge Gnabry, but that was not under Mikel Arteta, you know. Couple of good questions here coming in from Red John as well. I'll get back to that one in a second, but also we should have signed Ryan Gravenberch to replace Xhaka. Liverpool got a decent player there, missed an opportunity, only 40 million euros.
I'm surprising you're hearing you talk about Liverpool's midfield.
I've been slagged off about that by Riddy as well. I heard Chad Brown from the Patriots tell a story about when Teddy B came back. He went to build to revolve his role. He ended up on special teams and got a game ball for his actions, 12-year pro.
And this is people that's what when I say it's for the team. It's not for the individual.
Yeah.
That's why everybody was, that's what they do. They're going to rotate you in and out if they have to. If they can rotate KDB in, they would. They just don't have another KDB, right? They can't rotate a Rodri. They don't have another one. They want to rotate a Haaland. They don't have another one of those either. But they have lots of spaces around the wings and behind the forward, right? The center forward. So they can rotate those and just find the right ones for the right. They got all these tools, and whatever their problem is, they can use whatever tools they want.
Okay, definitely. Who's going to answer this one first? I'm going to let the chat box decide who wants to answer. Who's going to answer the question first, or what sequence we're going to answer. And Red John, who do you want to answer this question first? If Arteta doesn't win any silverware this season, are we sacking him, lads?
Are you waiting for them to answer, or do we just?
Yeah, I'll give it a few seconds. Tony first.
I would sack him because it would be a disappointment, but Arsenal's not going to.
Who's next, Red John? Who do you want to answer next? Probably Gary next, maybe. I'm thinking. Tony would sack him. Gary.
No, for me, it's not just if he doesn't win silverware and all the, there's little things that go into that. I mean, if we finish outside the top 3, that would be definitely a red flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
I said one of the things I wanted to be able to do was get out of the group of Champions League, but also I figure we want to play for a trophy, meaning we'd be in like a semi-final, final type situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have a chance to do that in two of the cups that we're in, right? So if he does that, then if he plays in a final Champions League or FA Cup and we don't win, for me that's a good step. But we got to finish in the top three. So,
I have a really. I guess I'm going to go last. That's fine. I have a really good feeling that we will win a trophy, but like Jurgen Klopp with Liverpool, what do? You sack a good manager, or a person that could become a good manager, just because of failure in one season. It doesn't mean he can't come back next season and win a trophy again, or rebound the next season. So I would not sack Arteta, but like Spencer says here, it depends on how it happens, and I think Gary was saying that as well. Depends on how you devolve out of that trophy. If you get to an FA Cup final and you lose, you don't even turn up in that game, it's bad.
Yeah.
If you drop out of the top three, it's bad. You know what I mean? When really we should be first or second, guaranteed in this league. If you finish above City, you should really win the league. So that's what we're aiming to do. And the Champions League, Tony says, and I think you're correct, Tony, it might be easier to win the Champions League in some respects than to win the league itself. You know what I mean? But I would not sack Arteta based. But if it was in very bad circumstances, we'd have to have that discussion. If they're losing the UEFA Champions League and the FA Cup final, would you? Yeah, I think if you lose both, it's looking really bad. If you get into a Champions League final and an FA Cup final, Tony, it's really bad, I think.
Yep. He has to prove that he can win those cups.
Yep, exactly. Here's the thing, Red John, and you should stick with us. We're just regular fans, just like you, and we put content out. We like to talk about Arsenal. It's great if we have people in here in the chat box and keep it active as well. Do follow Gary, DWTT, on Monday nights and Saturday, right?
Saturday morning.
Saturday afternoon. Saturday.
Oh, yeah, in the UK, yeah.
In the UK afternoon
3
time.
p.m. in the UK, yeah.
Yeah. And if you're interested in following Tony, he's the co-host of The Fool Nelson.
You'll know where I'll pop up at.
Wrestling maniacs. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Red John, really great that you're here with us watching and just participating in the conversation as well. What's really good is we've been doing this quite a few years now, and we're in a position where we're talking about Arsenal being really good, and we're looking at the league from a position of strength and hopefully celebrating a trophy or two this season, and that's what it's all about,
And you forgot one thing, Ray. You like banter.
We like banter. We do like banter. Yeah.
I said you like banter.
I like banter for sure. Yeah.
You've tried to go for it several times tonight already.
Chasing a trouble-winning team, fans need to read the room. Yeah. Chasing a team in Man City.
I mean, they're right where they want to be, right? They're winning their group. They're in the top. They're right there. What, 1 point off?
1 point off.
1 point off the top of the table.
Yeah.
They don't need to do anything more than they're doing right now. Everybody expects them to turn it on later. We'll see what happens if we turn it on later. So, if we get healthy and other things. So
put this Arsenal team into Germany Italy, France, maybe not Spain. And, we could have an easier time of it. You know what I mean? Domestically. But the task for Arsenal is to overcome Man City, much like the task has been for Liverpool over the years and other teams. And when you bring more and more teams into the competition, it benefits. It benefits Arsenal if City have a Liverpool to contend with, if City have a Tottenham, hopefully this weekend to contend with, or an Aston Villa. It makes the whole league more competitive. So,
and we'll find out something very soon after we seen it lots of the last time after Boxing Day, the teams ahead had won, except for the 3 times Man City had came back and passed Liverpool, and they passed us. So we'll see if they can do it another time.
yeah. And we know as well from last season, listen, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Celebrate, and it was an 8-point lead, Tony, at one point. I don't think it ever got more than an 8-point lead. And I think with that experience now, we can maybe temper our enthusiasm a little bit if we do get into a 3-4 point lead over City and Liverpool. We understand now. We saw what happened with Liverpool and City over the years, but now we understand because we lived it last season what City are capable of doing. And so, but I will remain.
Gary, take care of a little fella.
He's whining because he wants to go down, but he doesn't want to go around by himself.
Wow.
Just go.
It has been 2 hours. We've been going 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been with you the whole time up there?
No,
Gary?
he came up. He went down and came up.
So yeah, appreciate the content. Appreciate you being here, John, and interacting with everybody else as well. So
don't call Peter on Gary yet.
Check out the family of podcasts that we are involved in here. Gary has me and Alonso on Mondays and Saturdays, Sundays. It's inevitable we win the league when City get found guilty of their 116 charges. We will be the only one left in the title race. And we have to wait till August of next year before.
There's nothing. One, it'll be after the fact. 2, nothing will happen. So it's a waste of time. If they had one thread of truth, they would have just leaned on that one and punished them and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny how quick, Everton, it's like, oh, here you go, your points are getting docked. The big teams, Chelsea, City, all fight it.
Chelsea handed over the paperwork. This is not the same.
Yeah, but Chelsea have fought it previously. They've went to
City,
the Court of Appeals. All those guys
they handed
know how to
over
go to
they outed themselves. So
Man City are not exactly cooperating with.
So for me, that right there should be easy. 10 points to move on. If you don't want to cooperate with us and you're putting up all this front, then you probably did something wrong. You're not cooperating. Here's your 10-point deduction. Let's move on. All right.
10 points for
115.
10 points for 115.
But to get that many charges, I mean, there has to be 3 of them. You can just say, "Here, you guys are guilty." It can't be that hard.
Yeah, 115. You can't find any smoking guns that are easy to quantify and qualify, and verify.
The harshest levy against them could be dropping all the way out of the league, right, or down to the bottom of the football league.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't believe that's going to happen. So
Alonso,
Alonso could find something to get him docked 10 points.
Yeah.
And it'll take till next August before they even start proceedings. The whole thing will get delayed. It's probably
so that's why I think that's why the 115 makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna do all 115 at once, and then all you're gonna do is spend like, who knows how many wasted days and hours going around and around and around and around. Pick the harshest one and go after those. Pick the easier ones to prosecute, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think some of the charges that were on the list where the grass was too long or something ridiculous like that.
No
when you
way.
get to that level, then you're wasting everybody's time.
Said he won't get demoted. Maybe a points deduction. That's about it.
I get so tired of the pitch debates. All the pitches are good today. You can't complain. It's not like it was in the early 2000s. Some of those pitches were pitiful. Big mud puddles in the middle, dirt.
Yeah.
Are there any problems with today's pitches, Ray?
I don't think so. No, you go back. I remember games back in the day, and it was a muddy pitch, and the ball would hold up in a puddle somewhere. That was real football, I think. You know what I mean?
But you can, like I said, you can even go back to the early 2000s and say they had muddy pitches then. Like
Alonso's watching the Cowboys game.
No, the Seahawks game, right?
Okay. I'm looking at Gary and I'm looking at Alonso and the differing tense.
I know why Gary went so silent.
How close is it, Gary? Did Alonso say he's watching a seahorse race? So, like myself, Alonso likes the Philadelphia Eagles, and so he's actively supporting the Seahawks right now. Gary likes the Cowboys.
It's funny because my uncle, my mom's brother, likes the Seahawks. So I'm rooting for him.
I have a question for you, Alonso.
Oh, great.
And I already know the answer. Is the dome closed?
Oh, no, it's 28-27.
What are you talking about?
Dallas never opens the dome.
I'm not a Cowboys fan, Tony. I wouldn't know that question.
Yeah, you were paying attention to the game, so that's why I asked.
Oh, I'm not. It's open, I guess. I don't know, Tony. I'm sorry. I don't.
I'm sorry.
I just got home from work, dude. So.
Okay.
All right. So listen, we're gonna
tell me soon. Gary knows the answer.
Gary, it's a high-scoring game.
Gary, is the roof opened or closed?
He doesn't care about that question. He doesn't care about that question, Tony. Right now.
Gary knows the answer, though.
Gary, there's 14 minutes left. There's plenty of game left in this.
Shut up.
We're having an Arsenal podcast. You and Alonso should not be looking at other sports while we're having an Arsenal podcast here.
It's funny you say that, right? Because last night I watched an Arsenal game during the 4 Nelson podcast. So, but whatever.
Did they notice you were not participating?
Well, I was talking throughout the whole thing, but Tony, it became a Tony 4 Nelson podcast, and he was actually talking. So, but it was a fun podcast.
Okay, so I like the Eagles. The Eagles on this side of the house. Alonso likes the Philadelphia Eagles. I like the Eagles as well. Gary likes the Cowboys. Tony likes Oklahoma.
Much sooner.
You're college football, right, Tony?
Yeah, I like both.
All right. Red John's thinking of getting into American football. Gary, please do not try to convince him to follow the Cowboys.
Just tell him to follow the Chiefs.
So dude.
Chiefs
All
is
right.
a good team to follow. That'll be good for a while. It'll be like the Patriots were.
Denver. What are Denver now, Tony? Are they bad but getting better?
I guess. I mean, they can't get much worse. So.
It can't get much worse. Anyway, as someone who follows the Eagles and Arsenal, I sort of things are good right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, Jalen Hurts, Tony.
How was my scouting report on Mr. So how was my scouting report on Mr.
I didn't listen to you as closely as I should have, but you told me he was good, and it's been everything as advertised on the can. So
I told you he was a winner.
You were right. You were right, Tony. 6-5 Broncos looking good. 5 straight wins. All right, Tony. Let's. We're gonna get out of here soon, so Gary can concentrate on the final parts of the game. You know.
I thought he was already doing
The Cowboys comeback is going to happen, Gary. You're going to come back and win. Don't worry.
Even if they win, I'm still disappointed.
Yeah, you're about performance over result, aren't you?
Not gonna be able to. If you can't beat like Arizona, if you can't play the way you played against Philadelphia and get a win, right? I mean, it's not. You're not doing well.
All right. Someone else who's not doing well is Wolverhampton Wanderers right now, and some of the decisions that are going against them this season from the officials. Do you think it's justified? Do you think they're justified in the complaints that they have against the PGMOL?
I think everybody has complaints. It's getting to the point where what team doesn't have an issue with PGMOL? They all have. Everybody's lost points, dropped points.
Cheers, Stefan. Thanks.
Because of how they perform.
Have a good night.
Consistently bad, which is terrible.
Uh-huh.
But what happened to the talk of last year? They were talking about, we're going to look at making changes to the face shading rules and everything else they said they were going to do, and they haven't because nothing's changed.
You get individual rings if you win. If every player gets a ring, if you win the championship, but there is a trophy as well, a championship trophy to win at the end of the season as well. Tony?
And the MVP trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. So my point of view from Wolves, I think that they've been hard done by with some of the officials, but I think my issue with Wolves as well is like they're trying to tackle players in their own box. There's been a number of situations where there's legs swinging at players and there is contact. I actually think the 2 penalties against Fulham were legitimate. Fulham deserved those penalties.
Well, that's where you have to go back and look at. It's not about intent. It's about, is it a dangerous play and all that. By the letter of the law, a lot of those have been upheld and correct.
About contact. You know, you're swinging a leg, even if you try to pull out of it, your leg stays in, you make contact with the player.
Even that doesn't matter. I mean, it's a dangerous play. Is it dangerous? Yes. It is. it's not if they're malicious or
I
not.
think the issue that Gary O'Neill has with Wolverhampton Wanderers is he's not coaching, he's not teaching the players just to defend. He's coaching them somehow to initiate contact with players in the box.
They're not losing just because of that.
They've lost a few games.
They're not losing just because of that.
No, but
If they were more clinical in front of goal, because they get lots of chances. They've missed. Every time I watch them, it's always, wow,
yeah,
how they
but
missed that. And when you when you don't get many opportunities, and when you do, and you have a chance to take it, and you don't put it away, that's another
Gary,
point to it. You're
Gary,
talking about the defense.
we could be unbeaten right now. Arsenal could be unbeaten
Like I
this
said,
season.
the problem isn't just one team, though. You can't.
Yeah.
If we're going to focus on just the PGMOL, then you know what? What about everything else? Is it
So,
if you have opportunities to score, you don't make the play. You
all right.
know. They
Tiger
have-
and Gooner, cheers,
Yeah.
and Red John, thanks
We
for
watched
being
them
here.
in that game to open the season against Manchester United. How many opportunities did they miss in that match? It should never come down to we should have gotten a card at the a penalty at the end of that thing. They missed so many opportunities in that game, and it's not like Manchester United's defense is that solid. It isn't. They had chances. They didn't take them.
There's always going to be poor officiating. You have to deal with it and move on.
The Cowboys had a chance and took a field goal, right? So 5 points.
Are we talking about Arsenal here? What are we talking about?
Yes, we are.
Not once did I bring up another sport.
I'm not sure why we're going to Cowboy fan circle here.
No,
I came here to talk Arsenal. I don't know about you guys.
No, we'll sign off pretty soon. I just think that the Wolverhampton Wanderers would have had a better season, or would have a better season, if they were being coached to defend correctly inside their own box.
If they were coached to finish their dinner, they would also be.
Yeah, but defending is the first thing you do when you try to.
You need to do both. You don't win 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. You don't win that way. You have to score as well.
First
when
thing, a lot of
when
managers,
you don't put the ball in the net, guess what? You don't have an opportunity to win.
First things a lot of managers do is they set the parameters for defending first,
and then when they don't win because they can't score, then they complain about the defense. What? No, you have to. Coaching is all about offense, defense, and everything in between. You can't just focus on just the one thing.
What do you think? Well, we're gonna win, right? We're gonna win on Saturday. We have to beat them.
We have to win. We have to.
What's your prediction, Gary?
You're at home. 3-0. Easy 3-0.
2-3-0. Odegaard
3-0. 3-0.
Okay, 3-0. Odegaard and Eddie scores. And Eddie maintains his lead.
Why is he starting?
Top of the scoring charts.
Why is he starting?
He might come on as a sub.
Okay. Anybody who starts should be Trossard. He didn't even play.
Yeah.
Like Arteta. Like if Trossard doesn't start, Arteta's doing it again. He just cannot get out of his own way. Trossard had really 2 games back to back, and then he doesn't play. All right, or 3 games. I don't know what it was, but maybe if he's looking out for his health, I get it. But he should be ready to go in the next one. All right.
Arteta likes certain crayons. Let's just say that.
Spencer says bottom to mid-table have to be structured around defending. I can't play wide open like Leeds did, and that's kind of where I was going with this as well. You try to get the main principles of defending first, and I think Wolverhampton Wanderers have been guilty of trying to attempt to win the ball inside the penalty box. And I will make one prediction: Arsenal will not get a penalty.
How many matches do you think they've lost by more than 1 goal?
Few.
Very, very few.
Yeah. So
very
if
few.
If you turn 2 of those losses into a draw or a win, If you give them 3 more points, Gary, where are they in the table? How many positions do they go up in the table? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about this. I'm just looking at their season. 1-0 to Manchester United. Then they got destroyed against Brentford by 3. The next game they lost Crystal Palace 3-2. Liverpool, you don't expect them to win that one. That was 1-3. Luton, 1-1 draw. I have no doubt it's all about putting the ball in the net. Go, and then from then on out, they didn't lose. They only lost by 1 when they did lose.
Yeah.
They lost 1 to Ipswich in the cup. Lost 1 to City. Actually, they beat City.
Beat City.
The next time they lost was to Sheffield United by 1, and then they lost to Fulham by 1. They don't. If they're more clinical in games, they score. I have no doubt about it. Yes, their defense can hold too, but it goes both ways for them because I think they're really good offensively. They give themselves chances there.
It's kind of surprising looking at the league. They're in 12th place as well. You wouldn't automatically think they are in mid-table. You know what I mean?
They are when their best player is out and when they miss chances.
Mm-hmm. So you're telling us it's going to be a close game on Saturday,
3-0 is close?
Well, you're saying that they've played teams to 1 goal.
So 3-0 is not close.
No,
they don't lose by more than 2 most games.
Yeah,
they don't lose by 1.
If we beat them 3-0, it'll be a good performance from us.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Alonso, we're going to get out of here. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, prior to, I think, last spring's match, I think Wolves have always played us tough. They have it in them to upset a higher league team like us and City and Liverpool. So they have it in them to upset us. So I think Arsenal had too much starting 11 and for the bench. So I think it'll be a tough game, no doubt about it. So they're a different team than what we've played in the past. So yeah, I think I expect the win, but I won't be surprised if Wolves if Arsenal leave it late. So it's just a matter of how Arteta plays with the team he puts out. What kind of sucks about this team currently is that we don't have a consistent striker up front.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to depend on our width, wingers, and the midfield to win this game. I won't be surprised if Declan Rice scores a goal and Havertz again. So, it's just I think those 2 goals from Havertz in the past 2 games have been important for his confidence. Whether or not Arteta starts him at the 8 or just continues with Trezeguet at the 8 position, and have Jesus to start as a striker up front. Though I think everyone would want to see Havertz do the line at some games. Because you see the goals from Havertz have come both all 2 of them from open play have come from inside the box. So hopefully Arteta sees something, and hopefully goes from there. So it's working so far. So
top of the league and through to the last 16, the knockout stage of the Champions League next year, and we'll see next month because tomorrow is December. We'll see next month when who we're gonna get in the who we could possibly face, let's say, as the second place teams. Listen, we'll get out of here. It's a difficult month coming up. Wolves and Luton are 2 teams we really need to pick up 6 points from. From there on out, Aston Villa away from home, Brighton at home, and Liverpool away will be difficult ones leading up to Christmas. And then the other side, we have West Ham and Fulham before that break coming up. So, yeah, it's going to be a difficult month ahead and one in which we need to get a good start in. And Wolverhampton Wanderers, we need those 3 points. Tony, I don't know if you're still there or
I'm
not.
still here.
I'm going to give you the last quick word, and then we'll get out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Kind of yesterday wasn't having a good day because the area of the brain was stroke affected. It caused you to be very depressed. So I didn't have a very good day yesterday. So just happy to be here today.
All right. Bless you, Tony. All right. We are out of here. Gary, thank you. Hopefully the night can finish in a good note for you in the last 6 or 7 minutes here. Alonso.
Are you saying that sincerely, Ray?
I am saying that sincerely. I don't like. I
You
like
know
to see
what? You can
Gary's.
just stop talking about non-Arsenal stuff on this podcast.
I'm not even bantering. I like to see.
You know what? As I
Gary
said,
smile.
let's talk about Arsenal. All right.
All right.
Come
Arsenal.
on, Ray. They're in your
Arsenal,
same division.
Get that win.
Do you want the Cowboys to lose?
God,
Yeah.
day 24,
Say it,
man.
Out of here.
Jesus.
Cheers.